Hey everyone! If you're loving the stories and want to get all parts fully uncensored, plus loads of exclusive content, and help keep me motivated to create even more, I'd really appreciate it if you checked out my Patreon. For just $4, you'll unlock over 440 stories to suit every taste, new exclusives dropping daily that you won't find anywhere else, and you can even suggest your own ideas for future ones. Link is in the description or comments. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoy.
The bustling hidden village of Konoha, nestled among ancient forests and protected by towering walls, carried on with its familiar rhythm of missions, training, and hidden tensions. Naruto Uzumaki, now a spirited 15-year-old genin, trudged home after yet another exhausting day under Kakashi's watchful eye. His signature orange jumpsuit was scuffed and torn from sparring, blonde spikes matted with sweat, but his infectious grin never faded. The whispers of the villagers about the demon fox boy still stung sometimes, but Naruto pushed them aside. One day, I'll be Hokage, and everyone will acknowledge me, believe it! That fateful night, sleep evaded him. Restless energy buzzed through his veins, a mix of frustration from failing to master a new jutsu, and that ever-present craving for recognition. Sneaking out under the cover of moonlight, Naruto made his way to the Hokage Tower. He'd overheard Jiraiya muttering about forbidden scrolls locked away in the restricted archives. Techniques deemed too dangerous, too immoral for everyday shinobi. If I learn something powerful, maybe even pervy sage will take me seriously. Evading patrols with a combination of luck and a few explosive shadow clones as distractions, Naruto slipped into the dimly lit library. Dust motes danced in the faint lantern light as he rifled through sealed shelves. His fingers finally closed around an ancient, weathered scroll bound with faded red seals and intricate fuinjutsu patterns that hummed faintly with residual chakra. Heart pounding, he unrolled it on the floor. The title, etched in faded ink, read, Eternal Gaze Hypnosis Jutsu, a forbidden technique born from a long-extinct rogue clan during the brutal Warring States era. It wasn't mere genjutsu. It was a Kekkai Genkai fusion that permanently altered the target's neural pathways through sustained eye contact, rewriting loyalties, desires, and inhibitions to center entirely on the user. The warnings were stark. This power corrupts the soul. It turns allies into slaves, love into obsession. Use at the peril of your humanity. Naruto skimmed the dangers, his blue eyes lighting up instead at the potential. No one will ever ignore me again. I'll be the strongest, the most loved. Impulsive as always, he memorized the hand seals: Tiger, Ox, Snake, Ram, Dragon, Special, Crimson Eye Seal. Channeling his vast chakra reserves, bolstered by the nine tails, he activated it experimentally. A burning sensation flooded his eyes, pupils flashing a deep, swirling crimson before fading. He felt different. More confident, like an invisible aura now radiated from him. Practicing on a reflective kunai blade, Naruto noticed how his gaze seemed magnetic, almost pulling. Shrugging off a twinge of unease, he resealed the scroll, hid it in a secure spot only he knew, and slipped back home as dawn approached. The following morning brought an unexpected visitor. In this alternate reality, Minato's sealing mastery had allowed Kushina Uzumaki to survive the Ninetales extraction, though weakened and living a quieter life, while secretly watching over her son. She burst into Naruto's small apartment with her usual whirlwind energy, arms laden with groceries. Naruto! You lazy bum, Databane! Sleeping in again? Mommy brought your favorite ramen ingredients to cook a proper meal for once. Her long, fiery red hair swayed like a cascade of flames as she moved, violet eyes sparkling with affection. She wore a simple yet form-fitting green dress that clung to her voluptuous curves, ample chest straining the fabric, wide hips swaying naturally. Naruto rubbed his eyes, sitting up in bed. Mom? What are you doing here so early? Their gazes locked as she leaned over to ruffle his hair. In that instant, the eternal gaze activated unintentionally, a subtle chakra pulse linking their eyes. Kushina froze for a fraction of a second, her expression glazing over before softening into something deeper, more intense. The hypnosis took hold seamlessly, reshaping her maternal love into an all-consuming devotion laced with forbidden desire. She smiled warmly, sitting on the edge of his bed, her hand lingering on his thigh. "You've grown into such a handsome young man, Naruto. So strong. Mommy's so proud. Let me take care of you today, okay?" Naruto blinked, a flush creeping up his neck. She's never been this affectionate. But the attention felt amazing, warming the lonely parts of his heart. Later that afternoon, while wandering the bustling market streets for more training supplies, Naruto bumped into Mikoto Uchiha. In this timeline, guys, please don't forget to hit that like button and drop a comment if you enjoyed it. It means the world to me and gives me a huge boost of motivation. Your support keeps me going. The Uchiha massacre had been narrowly averted through Itachi's undercover work, allowing Mikoto to live peacefully, raising Sasuke with quiet grace. She was browsing fresh produce, her long black hair tied in an elegant loose ponytail, onyx eyes calm and kind. Her traditional dark kimono hugged her mature, refined figure elegantly. "Ah, Naruto-kun," she greeted with a gentle bow. "It's good to see you. Sasuke speaks of your rivalry often, though I suspect he admires you more than he admits." They chatted idly about village gossip and training. As Naruto animatedly described a new Rasengan variation, their eyes met deeply. The jutsu triggered again, crimson flicker invisible to her. Mikoto's breath hitched subtly, a rosy blush coloring her pale cheeks as the hypnosis wove into her mind, transforming respectful fondness into burning loyalty and lust. "Your eyes. They're so captivating," she murmured, voice barely above a whisper. "Full of fire." By evening, the invisible threads of the jutsu pulled events together. Kushina, feeling an inexplicable urge, invited her old friend Mikoto over for tea and reminiscing. "It's been too long, Mikoto. And Naruto will be home soon. We can all catch up." Naruto arrived to find both women in the living room, tea steaming on the table. The atmosphere felt charged, heavy with anticipation neither woman fully understood yet obeyed instinctively. Kushina patted the couch cushion beside her. "Come sit, Naruto. You've had a long day." Mikoto nodded, her usual composure softened. "Yes, let us pamper you a little." Sandwiched between them, Naruto's pulse quickened. Kushina's thigh pressed warmly against his, her hand tracing lazy circles on his arm. Mikoto leaned in from the other side, her breath warm on his neck. "Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. 400+ scorching hot episodes. Fire ***. In the hazy afterglow, tangled on the couch, Kushina and Mikoto nuzzled against Naruto possessively. The hypnosis had cemented eternal devotion. They would live for his pleasure now. Yet the jutsu's influence rippled outward subtly. Hinata's Byakugan activations lingered on him during training. Sakura's punches lacked their usual bite, replaced by flustered glances. Ino gossiped less, stared more. Even Tsunade scheduled unnecessary medical checkups. Naruto, basking in the warmth of his new lovers, grinned wickedly. "This power, it's only the beginning. Konoha will be mine." The eternal gaze hypnosis jutsu had transformed Naruto's world in ways he could never have imagined just a month ago. At 15, the once lonely Jinchuriki now returned home each evening to a whirlwind of affection from two of the most beautiful women in Konoha. His own mother Kushina, whose fiery passion burned hotter with every encounter, and Mikoto Uchiha, whose refined elegance hid a deeply submissive core. They had begun coordinating their visits, sometimes arriving together, turning his small apartment into a den of whispered moans and tangled limbs late into the night. Kushina's energetic, data-bang cries mixed with Mikoto's soft gasps as they competed to please him, sharing lingering kisses and guiding each other's hands across his body. Yet the jutsu's influence didn't stop there. Its subtle chakra signature acted like a magnet, drawing other Kunoichi closer without them fully understanding why. During training, Naruto noticed Sakura's healing sessions lingering longer than necessary, her fingers tracing his skin with unnecessary tenderness. Ino Yamanaka had started accidentally, brushing against him in the flower shop, her blue eyes sparkling with newfound interest. Even Anko Mitarashi, the notoriously sadistic Tokubetsu Jonin, had taken to lurking near his favorite ramen stand, licking dango suggestively while watching him eat. But Naruto's growing ambition fixed on a bigger prize, Tsunade Senju, the fifth Hokage herself. In this alternate timeline, Tsunade had accepted the mantle of Hokage years earlier than in some realities. After the third's death during Orochimaru's invasion, Jiraiya had tracked her down during one of her gambling binges and through a combination of guilt-tripping about her grandfather's legacy and promises of unlimited sake budgets, convinced her to return. She ruled Konoha with her trademark mix of brute strength, medical genius, and perpetual hangover, while Shizen handled the endless administrative details. The summons came on a warm afternoon via Tonton the Pig, who delivered a scroll with a snort. "Medical evaluation and mission performance review," it stated formally. Naruto's grin stretched ear to ear as he leaped across rooftops toward the Hokage Tower. "This is gonna be epic, believe it!" The office was as chaotic as ever. Stacks of paperwork threatened to topple, empty sake bottles lined the windowsill, and the faint scent of alcohol lingered in the air. Tsunade sat behind the massive desk carved with the Hokage faces, her blonde ponytails slightly disheveled from a long morning. Amber eyes glared over a report, her green haori hanging open to reveal the impossible swell of her massive chest, barely contained by a low-cut top. At over 50 chronologically but eternally appearing in her early 30s thanks to creation rebirth, she was the perfect blend of raw power and overwhelming sensuality. Toned arms that could shatter mountains, a flat stomach occasionally visible when she stretched, wide childbearing hips, and thick, powerful thighs that strained her skirt. Shizen stood dutifully at her side, clipboard in hand. Her short black hair framed a professional face, dark eyes sharp behind thin glasses. The black kimono she wore hugged her petite yet curvaceous figure, perky chest, slim waist, and flared hips that swayed subtly when she moved. Tonton rooted around her feet contentedly. "Naruto, you noisy little brat!" Tsunade growled without looking up. "Your mission reports are still absolute trash. Do you even try?" Shizen offered an apologetic smile. "Lady Tsunade, please. Naruto-kun has been improving in the field." Naruto dropped into the chair opposite, rubbing his neck sheepishly. Come on, Granny Tsunade. I nailed that last escort mission." As Tsunade finally raised her head to snap back, their eyes locked. Naruto, now practiced with the technique, formed the hidden seals under the desk and channeled chakra precisely. The invisible crimson swirl struck her amber gaze first. Tsunade's expression froze mid-scowl, body tensing as the hypnosis took root, rewriting priorities, desires, and inhibitions in an instant. Authority, gambling debts, even her beloved sake faded behind one overwhelming need, Naruto Uzumaki. Shizen turned to pour tea, meeting his eyes next. The jutsu hit her just as cleanly. Years of loyal service to Tsunade seamlessly expanding to include total devotion to the boy before them. Tsunade leaned back slowly, a predatory smile curling her lips as color rose to her cheeks. "On second thought, the report can wait. Shizen, clear my entire afternoon. Lock the doors and activate the privacy seals. No interruptions." Shizen moved with uncharacteristic eagerness, fingers flying through seals to erect medical-grade barriers around the office. Soundproof, chakra blocking, and completely private. "Yes, Lady Tsunade. Everything is prepared." Naruto's heart hammered. "Holy crap, it's actually working on the Hokage." Tsunade rose first, sauntering around the desk with hips swaying hypnotically. She stopped directly in front of him, towering slightly but radiating possessive warmth rather than intimidation. "You've been hiding quite the potential, brat," she purred, voice husky with newfound desire. Her fingers traced his whisker marks, then trailed down his chest. "All that endless stamina. Let's see if the rumors are true." She pushed him back into the reinforced Hokage chair, built to withstand her strength, and straddled his lap with surprising grace. Her haori fell open completely, revealing sheer black lingerie that did little to contain her massive chest. Pale flesh spilled over the cups, pink nipples already straining visibly against lace. Touch them. They've been aching for strong hands. She grabbed his wrists, pressing his palms firmly into the overflowing softness. Naruto squeezed instinctively, marveling at how his fingers sank deep yet met resilient firmness. Tsunade moaned loudly, head falling back as she ground her soaked core against his rapidly hardening bulge. Shizen approached from behind the chair, leaning over to kiss Naruto's neck while her hands slid under his shirt. Naruto-kun, we've watched you grow for years, she whispered breathlessly. Let us show you proper appreciation. Her skilled fingers, honed by medical jutsu, traced sensitive spots along his torso, making him shiver. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. 400+ scorching hot episodes. Fire ***. Tsunade watched with hooded amber eyes, then leaned forward to smother Naruto's face between her legendary chest. Worship your Hokage properly, brat. He eagerly pulled aside the lace, latching onto one thick pink nipple and sucking hard. Tsunade groaned deeply, hips rolling faster as she ground against his throbbing hardness. After several minutes of Shizen's expert attention, Tsunade dismounted briefly. My turn. She stripped fully, revealing her masterpiece of a body. Powerful abs rippling under soft pale skin, wide hips perfect for gripping, thick thighs that could crush stone, and a perfectly shaved core glistening with arousal. Shizen followed suit, kimono pooling to reveal perky chest with dark nipples, slim waist, and a neat dark bush above dripping heat. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. 400+ scorching hot episodes. Fire ***. In the warm afterglow, bodies tangled on the couch, Tsunade traced lazy circles on his chest. The tower is yours whenever you desire, Naruto. Official and unofficial privileges. Shizen nuzzled his neck, glasses long discarded. We'll always be waiting, Naruto-kun. Anything you need. The web tightened further. Rumors of strange feelings spread among other Kunoichi. Hinata practicing palm strikes with unusual fervor, Sakura studying anatomy texts with flushed cheeks. Naruto's grin in the moonlight was pure triumph. Naruto's hidden empire of devotion had reached a level he could barely comprehend. The days blurred into a perfect cycle of power and pleasure. Mornings often started with Kushina's energetic wake-up calls, her fiery red hair tickling his chest as she moved with him slowly, whispering, "Good morning, my precious boy Databang," while the sun rose. Afternoons belonged to the Hokage Tower. Tsunade's super strength allowed for wild sessions where she lifted him effortlessly, while Shizen lavished attention from below. Evenings brought Mikoto's refined touch, slow, sensual touches that inevitably turned into hours of elegant warmth. The eternal gaze's passive aura worked tirelessly, pulling more Kunoichi closer without them fully understanding why. Sakura's medical checkups now included unnecessary, deep tissue examinations. Ino's flower arrangements came with lingering hugs. But the most surprising addition arrived from outside the village entirely. Minoka Namikaze, daughter of Minato's second cousin from a remote branch family, had lived her life far from Konoha's spotlight. Raised in a small allied shinobi outpost near the border, she grew up on tales of the Yellow Flash and his red-haired whirlwind wife. When Tsunade, now secretly devoted to Naruto, learned of surviving Namikaze's blood through old clan records, she arranged an exchange program. Minoka would come to Konoha to study advanced medical ninjutsu under Shizen, while subtly assessing if any Kekkai Genkai traits lingered in the bloodline. At 18, Minoka was stunning, a perfect blend of Namikaze's features with feminine grace. Her golden blonde hair fell in soft, wavy layers to her mid-back, catching sunlight like spun gold. Sky blue eyes, identical in shade to Naruto's and Minato's, sparkled with sharp intelligence and quiet confidence. Faint whisker-like birthmarks graced her cheeks, 3 delicate lines on each side, barely visible unless you looked closely. She stood tall at 170 centimeters, her body honed by years of taijutsu and reconnaissance missions, full, proud chest that filled out her tops perfectly, a toned narrow waist, wide hips that swayed naturally when she walked, long athletic legs, and smooth, pale skin with subtle tan lines from outdoor training. Her personality contrasted Naruto's case. Calm, analytical, with a dry, teasing wit, but shared the same core kindness and determination. She arrived in Konoha on a warm autumn evening, travel cloak dusty from the road. Tsunade had given her Naruto's address with a knowing smirk, claiming, "Family should meet family." Minoka knocked politely while Naruto was in the midst of a particularly intense welcome home from Kushina. Kushina, ever adaptable, threw on her robe and answered the door with flushed cheeks and messy hair. "Yes? Oh. Hi there." Minoka smiled brightly, blue eyes warm. "Good evening. I'm Minoka Namikaze. Tsunade-sama directed me here, said this was Naruto Uzumaki's residence. Is my cousin home?" Kushina's violet eyes widened in genuine surprise. She had believed all Namikaze's relatives lost or distant, but recovered with trademark energy. "Of course, Databane. Come in, come in. Naruto, you have a visitor." Naruto stumbled out of the bedroom and hastily pulled on boxers, spiky hair wilder than usual, face still marked with faint traces of warmth. Hey!" Minoka turned fully, and their eyes met for the first time. Identical sky-blue gazes locked. The eternal gaze surged without conscious effort, the Jutsu recognizing shared blood and amplifying the connection tenfold. An invisible crimson swirl flashed in Naruto's pupils. Minoka's confident posture softened instantly. A deep flush crept from her neck to her cheeks, breath catching as years of curiosity about her famous cousin twisted into overwhelming desire and devotion. Family ties, admiration, loneliness from growing up far away, all rewired into singular obsession. "Naruto," she whispered, voice trembling slightly. "You look exactly like Uncle Minato in the old photos. But taller, stronger, more handsome." Kushina watched from the kitchen doorway with an amused, almost proud grin, sensing the shift immediately. She quietly poured tea and stayed out of the way. This was Naruto's moment. Minoka stepped closer, reaching out hesitantly to trace one of his whisker marks with gentle fingertips. "I've always wondered about you. They said you grew up alone, carrying his legacy. But you're not alone anymore, are you?" Her touch sent electricity through him. Naruto swallowed hard. "Minoka, you feeling okay? Long trip, right?" She laughed softly, a melodic sound, but her voice carried a new husky undertone. "I've never felt better. I think I came to Konoha for the wrong reasons at first. But now I know the real one." Minoka closed the remaining distance slowly, deliberately, pressing her cloaked body against his bare chest. The travel cloak parted slightly, revealing a tight white crop top that hugged her full chest perfectly, nipples already visible through thin fabric, and a short blue skirt that ended mid-thigh, showing off endless toned legs. She tilted her face up, lips brushing his ear as she whispered, "I've been thinking about family the whole journey, but right now, all I can think about is you, cousin." Naruto's hands found her waist on instinct, gripping the soft curve above her hips. Minoka initiated the kiss, starting gentle, exploratory, lips soft and tasting faintly of mint from travel herbs. Then deeper, hungrier. Her tongue sliding against his with confident skill, small moans escaping as she pressed harder. Her fingers tangled in his spiky blonde hair, pulling just enough to elicit a groan from him. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. 400+ scorching hot episodes. Fire ***. Extended aftercare. They lay tangled for nearly an hour. Minoka curled against his chest, tracing his whisker marks lazily while he stroked her blonde hair. Kushina eventually joined with tea and snacks, the three sharing quiet laughter as family bonds deepened in entirely new ways. In the warm afterglow, Minoka nuzzled his neck with a satisfied smile. "I'm definitely extending my stay in Konoha, permanently if you'll have me." Kushina chuckled from the doorway. "Welcome to the family, Databane." the web grew ever wider. Whispers of more arrivals and awakenings reached Naruto's ears. The night air in Naruto's small apartment was thick with the scent of sweat, arousal, and the faint floral perfume Minoka had worn on her journey. Naruto lay sprawled on the couch, chest heaving, his throbbing hardness still half hard and glistening. Minoka straddled his lap in the afterglow, her long blonde waves cascading over her bare shoulders, full chest pressed against his chest as she nuzzled his neck lazily. Her sky-blue eyes were hooded with satisfaction, faint whisker marks flushed pink on her cheeks. From the kitchen doorway, Kushina watched with a predatory smile. The robe she had thrown on earlier hung open now, revealing her voluptuous figure in full, heavy chest swaying freely, wide hips and thick thighs that spoke of Uzumaki vitality, fiery red hair tousled. Violet eyes gleamed with possessive pride and growing hunger. "So this is Minato's little niece, Databane?" Kushina purred, voice low and teasing as she sauntered closer. Her bare feet patted softly on the floor, robe slipping off one shoulder entirely. "Welcome to the family properly, sweetheart. You look just like him, but so much softer. Prettier." Minoka lifted her head from Naruto's shoulder, still sensitive, a shy but devoted smile spreading across her lips. "Kushina-san, you're even more beautiful than the stories said." "And Kushina." Kushina's grin widened at the title. She stepped right up to the couch, reaching out to cup Minoka's chin gently, tilting the blonde's face up. "Good girl. Call me auntie from now on. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. 400+ scorching hot episodes. Fire ***. The three collapsed in a sweaty, satisfied tangle on the floor, Kushina in the middle like the heart of the family, one arm around Naruto's shoulders, the other stroking Minoka's blonde hair gently. "From now on," Kushina whispered with a tired but happy smile, "you're not just visiting Konoha. You're home, Databane. And we're keeping you." Minoka nuzzled closer to Naruto's chest, blue eyes shining. "I wouldn't dream of leaving. Ever." Naruto grinned into the darkness, arms around both women. "Family just got a whole lot bigger, and better. To be continued."